Yeah, Master, please proceed. Thank you.
So hey guys, I hope you guys are able to see my screen and then listen to me properly, right? Anyone in chat can confirm me that. So yeah. So in our last class, we have discussed about MCP. We haven't done any project on MCP as such, but in tomorrow's workshop, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we are gonna build some wonderful projects on MCP. So MCP is a key buzzing word, but we have discovered what exactly an MCP is. Let's spend 2 minutes of our time and then discuss what exactly MCP is. And then we'll also discuss one more protocol, which is called agent to agent protocol, which is also making so much of buzz in entire AI world. So as you all know, MCP is a protocol, standard protocol to connect to tools. So we have MCP server. So an MCP server can be created by you. So you can create your own MCP server, or what these companies are trying to do is that they are trying to create so many MCP servers. So if you see Google search, Google has created their own MCP server. Yeah, Notion has created their own MCP server. And then many more. There is Jira's MCP server, GitHub MCP server. So what this MCP server has is that this MCP server has three key components. One is tools. So there are set of tools. So there can be, if you are saying Gmail tool, there are many tools like send an email, draft an email, and then there are so many tools, right? So what you are kind of doing is that uh, this MCP server holds all the tools, and what this MCP client is doing is that it is kind of connecting to this MCP server and then using that tool. So this is an unified way of connecting to tools by this concept of something called model context protocol, and this model context protocol is created by Anthropic. Uh, yeah, in great detail, in great projects, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we are going to talk about MCP servers. So please, MCP protocol. So please don't miss tomorrow and day after tomorrow's classes where we are talking about projects on MCP. So let's spend some time on what exactly A2A is. A2A stands for agent to agent. So with MCPs, what are we trying to do is that our agentic application or our client, MCP client, is connecting to MCP server, where MCP server has access to different tools, different resources, and then different prompts. That is what we are doing. So it is unified way to connect to tools. Whereas in A2A, we are connecting to different agents. Let's say, so everyone believes that going forward, agents is the new big thing, right? So what Google has come up with is that they come up with an protocol that standardized way or unified way to connect to different agents. So let's say I am in MetLife. I am working on some agentic application. Okay, and for some reason I want to connect to other insurance companies uh, agent. Let's say I want to connect to United Health insurance company's agent. So in order to connect to MetLife's agent to United Health agent, what we need is we need a standard protocol so that my agent can communicate to that agent, and then if this agent needs some task to be executed by other agent, we can do that with this agent to agent protocol. So difference between MCP protocol, MCP, which is model context protocol, and A2A protocol is that MCP standardizes way of connecting to tools, and then A2A standardizes way of connecting to agent to agent. So how do we connect it to agent to agent? So this is the protocol which is created by Google. So let's see how agent to agent communication happens. So what is the agent to agent protocol workflow? So let's say this is MetLife's agent. So I have created in our company, we have created in one agent, which is MetLife's agent. And then there is other agent, which is United Health. They have their own agent. So there was a let's assume that these two agents were published in public. And then what I'm trying to do is that I am trying to send a request, connection request to agent B, saying that whether this agent is available or not. If this agent B is available, then what it says is that it accepts the connection. So whatever agent A is saying, right? So agent A is saying that, hey, I want to connect with you. And then what this agent B is doing is agent B is connecting to agent A. So once after connecting, what agent A is doing is agent A is requesting for capabilities. Say asking for, hey, I am a MetLife agent. I want to perform some operation on, let's say, day-to-day healthcare. I mean, there is routine healthcare, right? MetLife doesn't provide routine healthcare. They are in accident and health. They are in disability. They are in pet and dental, but they are not in general healthcare. So, but United Healthcare, their main modem of insurance is that they do provide general healthcare as well. So, what this MetLife's agent is asking is, this MetLife agent is asking, what capabilities do you have? And then what this agent B, United Healthcare's agent will do is that shares the that shares the capabilities what it has, saying that, hey, I am an agent, and then I do have A, B, C are my capabilities. And now, after the successful connection, and then after asking for capabilities, now what this agent A, MetLife's agent will do is that this will propose a task, or this will submit a task to do. And now what this agent B is doing is, whatever agent A is asking to do, this agent B will kind of accomplish the task. It accepts the task, and then it will do that task. So once after the task is done, it delivers the task results back to agent A, and then it kind of process the result, whatever the process outcomes for that task is, that are being handled, that are being processed by this agent A. So here it is kind of MCP server also, right? So in MCP server as well, what are we trying to do? So if you come here, you are kind of initially, this MCP client is asking, hey, what tools do you have? Yes or no? And then this MCP server is saying, hey, I have Google search engine. And then here this MCP server is saying I have stock API tool, and then this is saying I have a calculator tool. So initially this MCP server is asking what tools all these MCP servers are having. Similarly, in A2A as well, it is asking for what capabilities do you have, and then it is kind of sharing the capability. So whenever there is, if there is some establishment between node between agent to agent or between client to server, you don't know what that server has, or you don't know what that agent has. So first there has to be a connection, Later, you need to ask for capabilities, and then you need to ask for the task. So once after MCP server is sending the sending what tools that it has, now MCP client will ask to execute a tool for that specific MCP server. So hope this MCP server, MCP protocol and then agent to agent protocol are clear. So these two are two protocols, guys. Any questions on A2A? If no questions, we can move back to our some interview questions on generative AI. We'll see what are the frequently asked questions and then how to answer those questions. Okay. I see no questions. So could you please come again on A2A? Okay. So this A2A is a protocol. So let's say you are a developer. What are you trying to do is that you are kind of creating. Yeah. So let's recap this one more time. So, okay, you are kind of creating an you are kind of creating an agent, and then you don't want to create another agent where that other agent is already, which is already created by some other person or some other company. Okay. So yeah, that is what I'm saying. Kindly please pay attention, guys. Yeah, I'm kind of telling you the difference between A2A and MCP. So let's talk about agent to agent for at least 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll spend some time on MCP as well and distinguish the difference between A2A and MCP. So let's see. So let's say I am building an application, guys. Okay, I'm building an agentic application. In this agentic application, I build 3 agents. Okay, and then I want to build 4th agent as well. But luckily, what happened is that this agent has been already created by someone. Okay, now I don't want to create that 4th agent. Instead, I want to use that 4th agent which was created by other person. So how can I call that 4th agent which has been created by other person? So in order to connect to the agent which was created by Murali, let's say Murali has created that agent. Okay, so I want to access Murali's agent. So I have created 3 agents, and then in order to complete my entire agentic application, I need to call one agent which is created by Murali. So how can I call that Murali's agent? So this protocol enables us to call the agent which has been created by other developer or other company. So how the connection happens between my agentic application and then the Murali's agent where Murali has created that agent, right? So in order to establish the connection, what my agentic application is doing is it is kind of sending a connection request to Murali's agent. And now Murali's agent is kind of saying okay for my request. It is accepting my connection, and then after establishing the connection, what my agent is doing is my agent is asking for I know the core capabilities of that agent, but I'm still asking what are the capabilities that that agent has. And then that agent is kind of telling me, hey, I have so and so capabilities. After that, what I'm doing is that after this connection happens, after I'm sharing the capabilities, what I'm trying to do is that I'm kind of proposing a task to do. So if there are 2 agents, you can delegate your task, right? I'm kind of delegating my agent A task to Murali's agent task, so that Murali's agent can deliver my task, whatever I'm asking for. And Murali's agent is kind of delivering the outcome of what my agent is asking for. So this is there is a protocol, that is what A2A protocol is. This way is a standard way of connecting my agent to Morali's agent. Hope this A2A is clear. Now let's talk about any questions on A2A, guys. So you have two agents. One agent is what you created, and then there is another agent which is available in the marketplace. So how do you connect to that marketplace agent is with the help of this protocol, where you connect to that marketplace agent with the help of this protocol. If this is clear, let's talk about what MCP is doing. MCP is a standard way of connecting to tools. So here I'm connecting to agent. I'm not connecting to agents B's tools. I'm connecting to agent B, which is available in the marketplace. So if connection happens between agent to agent, that is agent to agent protocol. If the connection happens between my agent application to different tools. So MCP server is nothing but what MCP server has. MCP server has different tools, right? So this is a standard way of connecting to tools, and then A2A is standard way of connecting to agent to agent. I mean, does that make sense now? I mean, or do you guys need any explanation? No problem, guys. If you are having any questions, feel free to post that. I'll definitely answer all your questions. Okay. Is it only to one agent or one to many agents? Yeah, you can connect to one to many agents as well. Let's say if I have agent A and then I want to connect to different agents, I can do that with this uh, A2A protocol. I can connect to many agents. I can. So let's talk about a few interview questions. So as I said, there are three main topics, guys. Okay, so there are three main areas where interviews can go. As I said, one is RAG. Okay, you might get questions on RAG. You might get questions on fine tuning, and then you might also get questions on agents. Okay, so these are the three areas where we will get questions, guys. So from now, what we can do is that we can kind of have a short. I mean, I'll ask questions, guys. Please try to answer the questions based on your responses. What I can do is I can enhance your knowledge. So please be proactive and then kind of answer the questions, so that this would be one-on-one rather than me explaining in monolithical way. Okay, giving question and then giving answer is not gonna help you in any means. So the better way is that you please answer to my question. So based on your responses, I can enhance your knowledge, guys. Okay. So as I said, interview questions are on three areas because Gen AI, I mean, people are working on these three areas. So one is RAG, second one is fine tuning, and third one is on agents. Okay. So first, let's talk about RAG, guys. So I think I have covered enough questions on RAG. So I'm not sure whether you have recollected this topic or not, but I am the one who took this RAG classes. I think I have asked all these questions, guys. So these are the very, very, very important questions. I have given around 10 to 15 interviews from last 2 to 3 years. So these are the frequently asked questions on RAG. So first, the basic question, guys. So what comes to your mind when I say RAG? So simple question is, think of I'm as an interviewer and then I'm asking this question. Tell me what exactly RAG? What comes to your mind when I say RAG? Can you share this PPT interview questions? Yes, I'll definitely do that, guys. So these are all the interview questions that are asked in my interviews. So I'll definitely share all these things. Don't worry about that. Okay. So RAG stands for Retrieval Argument Generation. Okay. Uh, Sir, if you are available, if someone is raising hands, you can give access to them to speak as well. Indraja or
Yeah, I was unable to unmute. Indra, can you do that, please? Somehow my system is like,
okay. I think
Master, you can
Yeah,
also try if you can unmute.
sure, yeah.
Because my
Yeah,
system got stuck, I was not able to unmute.
got it, yeah.
yeah. RAG is retrieval augmented generative, which is actually means like which is get from OCR to embedded into that different pages, split into the pages, or this one actually insert into that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, what are we trying to do with RAG is that LLMs are LLMs doesn't know external knowledge, right? So our company's information, whatever our company's documents are, LLMs doesn't know that information. So what we need to do is that if you are asking any question on our company's data, so in order to this question, what we need to do is we need to send some additional information on this question. Okay. Then only LLMs can answer our question, right? If not, I'm asking a policy related to United Health. LLMs might not know that because that proprietary information LLM might not be trained on that. So now for these LLMs, what are we trying to do is that we are trying to provide our knowledge base, our company's knowledge base to LLM as a context so that LLM can answer our question. So how do we do that is in RAG, there are two stages, guys. One is, do you guys hear me? Sorry, guys. Yes, okay. So, so how do we do that is one, right now Murali is talking about that, right? So there are two phases. One is a data ingestion phase where we have companies documents. There are hundreds and hundreds of documents. So what are we trying to do is that we are kind of taking these documents and then storing these documents into vector databases. So this is called as data ingestion phase, guys. Okay, so we are kind of taking the documents, extracting the content from the documents using OCR. So OCR, after extracting the content, what do we have, guys? We have textual information. So, but vector databases, what is the limitation of vector databases? Vector databases stores only the vectors, which means numerical representation. Okay, so think of this, guys. So I have, what is the this is not a problem statement. So what is the problem statement? I have the PDFs, and then I need to store the PDFs into vector databases. So that is my problem statement. So PDF information, PDF has many things, right? It has tables, it has images. So now I want to extract the content from PDF, right? So how do you extract the content from PDF, guys? So I have the information in PDFs. I want to extract the content from PDFs. What techniques do you use in order to extract the content? Yeah, I got 2 answers, 3 answers. Come on. So yeah, we use something called OCR. OCR is used for extracting the content from the PDFs. Once after you extract the content from the PDF, what you need to do, guys? You need to somehow convert this data. So that extracted content is text, right? And then you want to store only vectors into vector database. So you have the textual information, and then you need to convert this into numerical representation so that you can load this numerical representation into vector database. So what technique do you use to convert the textual information to numerical information or the vectors? What technique do you use, guys? There are mixed answers for this question. One says word to vector. Yes, word to vector is one technique, but on high level, this is called as embedding. Okay, embedding is the process of converting the text into numerical representation. But in between this, we have something called chunking. What is the chunking is, so after extracting the content from the PDF, we have the textual information, right? Let's say if this is 600-page document. So storing 600-page document as one record is not an efficient way, right? So then what we are trying to do is that we kind of take the extracted content, we kind of do something called chunking. Okay. After that chunking, what are we trying to do is that we are kind of doing embedding. After that embedding, we are storing that into vector database. So is this clear, guys? This is a data ingestion. So we have our company documents. I'm kind of ingesting that company documents into vector databases. Okay. So this is phase 1. So in phase 2, we have RAG pipeline. So what is RAG pipeline, guys? RAG stands for retrieval augment generation. So what are we trying to do in a retrieval argument generation is, so we have the question. So user is asking one question, right? Now I take that question and then I pass that question to vector database. And from vector database, what I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get some relevant information, right? So this process of sending the question to vector database, getting the relevant information is called as, what is this process, guys? What is this process called as? This is semantic search, or this is called as retrieval, right? So in drag process, what exactly R stands for? R stands for retrieval, right? Which means you are kind of sending the question to the database, and from database, what are you trying to get is you are trying to get the relevant information. Okay. So that is the process called as retrieval. So once after getting the retriever, what are we trying to do? We are trying to augment the question, the retrieved context, and then the prompt. And now what we are trying to do? We are sending all this information. So one is the user question. Second one is the retrieved information from the retriever. Augmentation is nothing but combining, guys. So combining the question, the retrieved information, and then the prompt, and then we are passing all this information to LLM, and then we are asking LLM for generation. So this is RAG, guys. So stage one is ingestion pipeline. So you have the document. You need to push this document to vector databases. So for that we do OCR to extract the content. We do chunking to break the bigger OCR extracted text into small pieces. So small pieces is in text. So we'll convert the text into vectors using embedding, and then we load this chunk into vector database. So that is the stage, that is the phase one. So in phase two, so in retriever pipeline, so whatever the user question is, I send this user question to the knowledge base, whatever we have created, which is vector database, whatever we have created. So I send this question to vector database, and then I retrieve the information from the vector database as a chunks. So once after getting the retrieved information from the chunks, whatever I'm trying to do is that I am trying to take the question, take the relevant information from the vector database, and then if there is any prompt, I can have also that prompt. I'll send all these things to LLM, and then I'll ask LLM to generate. So retrieving the relevant information from vector database, augmenting the question prompt and then the relevant context, sending all those to LLM so that LLM can do the generation. So this is RAG, guys. Okay, so if any questions on this, guys? Any questions? So from here only the question starts. Though this is high level, what exactly, uh, high level, what exactly, go ahead, guys.
Hi. Hi. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Actually, this is the RAG is only do for the documentation purpose or any other. Actually, we do that as we see that retrieval augmentation generation. We do get the PDF or Word, whatever it is, get the information and insert into the vector database. Is
Mhm.
only the purpose RAG is used to extract the data from PDF or Word or something or any other way means like agent or apps we get we insert to the vector database for the retrieval. Any apps or any agents are does the process. Could you please uh, uh, clear our information? Could you please tell the information on this?
Sure. I mean, basically, RAG is main purpose is to store the information, to store the external information or new information into databases, and then so with this RAG, what are we trying to, the basic fundamental thing, what are we trying to do with achieving with this RAG architecture is that, so you try to give additional information to LLM so that LLM can answer your questions. So the basic thing that RAG can only do is that it can only, I mean, whatever there in the vector database with the help of semantic search. So what is meant by passing question to to vector database is you're kind of doing semantic search. So the RAG one and only the purpose is that build chatbots, or you can say the with the help of RAGs, what do you do is that you can do something called document intelligence. So this is entirely document intelligence, right? So you take the document, it can be PDF, it can be Word document, or it can be PowerPoint, or it can be any document, right? So you kind of extract the content from the document, store that into database, and then ask questions on top of the document. So RAG is only used for that document intelligent type of activities. So is that clear, guys? Till now, are you guys clear with that? Any questions? Yeah. So now the questions are here, guys. Is it possible to read from external databases and websites? Yes, you can do that, but with the help of external tools. So if I want to read from external databases or if I want to read from external websites, so what you can do is that you can create, let's say, you can write a web scraping tool that scraps the information from the websites and then store that information in the in the vector database. Or if you are talking about any SQL or no SQL database, you can also connect to that databases with the help of tooling. So if I want to connect it to external websites or external databases, you need to connect as a tools. So tool would be more appropriate thing rather than implementing RAG. You can also implement RAG, but tooling would be more appropriate if you want to connect to external databases. So here comes the biggest question, guys. So I talked about that RAG thing, right? In the data ingestion phase, right? So we have the PDF, and then what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to extract the content from PDF uh, using something called OCR, right? So how do you, the first question that comes and then they'll ask is that, how do you handle complex PDF content? That is the biggest. So you're saying that you're extracting the content from PDF using OCR, right? So in PDF, you might have forms, you might have tables, you might have handwritten stuff. So how do you handle all those scenarios? How do you handle the complex PDFs? So this is the question that I got many times. If I say, if you have any RAG project in your resume, so if you say this data ingestion pipeline, whatever I'm saying, and then if you're saying the query orchestration pipeline or the RAG pipeline, whatever we talked about. So that first question that comes to people's mind and then they'll ask is that, how do you handle the complex PDFs? So if a PDF has form, if a PDF has tables, if a PDF has handwritten data, so how do you handle all those things? And then what are the different OCR strategies that you would use? This is also one question that you might get. So any answers, guys, before I answer this question, or anyone can say, how do you handle the complex PDFs? Multimodal RAG, I think. mm, Multimodal RAG we can, but the question here is not on different forms in generation, guys. So the question here is, how do you handle the complex documents so that ingestion would be smooth? So let's say assume that I have a document and then I pass this document to OCR service. I can someone tell me what is the AWS OCR service? Yes, don't divide tables. Yes, that's good. But can someone tell me what is the OCR service from AWS, guys? AWS text extract. Excellent, guys. What is the Azure's OCR service, guys? Azure has one OCR service. What is that name? So AWS has one service, one OCR service, which is called as Textract. And then Azure also has one service. Can somebody tell me that? Yes, there is something called document intelligence, guys. Yeah, there is something called document intelligence. Okay, Azure has one, and then there are so many open source models. Recently, yesterday or day before yesterday, we have a release from DeepSeek. Their OCR model has outperformed all the benchmarks. So there is something called document intelligence. Okay, there are so many models like Docling. There is PyPDF loader. So there are so many OCR models, guys. Okay, so the question is, if let's say you are using document intelligence, okay, and then you are passing document to your PDF to document intelligence. Leverage headings. Shiva, excellent. He is kind of answering. Nice. Chandrasekhar also answered segregate different kinds of data and take care of each kind one at a time. Excellent. That is the answer that I am looking for, Chandrasekhar. So what are we trying to do, guys? So let's say if I have a PDF, okay. So what we need to do is that you kind of need to segregate this PDF based on the content or based on the layout. So let's say if I have headings or subheadings or paragraphs, so how can I know that it is a paragraph? Is you in the OCR, there are different OCR models, guys. There is something called layout models. So layout models can distinguish whether this is a paragraph or whether this is a heading or whether this is a table or whether this is a form. So layout model in OCR can identify what kind of thing it is in the PDF. Okay. So once after layout analysis is done, that means you are kind of identifying what are the different components that are there in the PDF, right? That is what Chandrasekhar has answered. So you are kind of look into the PDF and then you are identifying that there are some paragraphs, there are tables, there are some forms. So you are kind of identifying all those things, right? So if you can write a custom logic, and then if there is forms, you can divide or you can chunk based on a row. If there is, if or else let's say if there is a paragraph, you can do some fixed size chunking. Or if there is some tables, you can split based on you can pass entire table as one chunk. So if there is if you identify the layout of that complex PDF, then you can write a custom logic or you can write a custom sentiment. I mean, you can do custom chunking logic where you can divide based on the identified components. So any questions on these, guys? This is how on high level how you kind of handle the complex PDFs. So you need to write a custom chunking strategy that identifies the individual components that are there in the complex PDF. So once after identifying that, so if there are paragraphs or if there are sections, if there are subsections, identify uh, those and then do some fixed size chunking or paragraph chunking, whichever is working fine. And if it is forms or if it is tables, do based on key value pair. Or so if it is form, you need to have key value pair, right? Name and then the name of the user. Or if there is checkboxes, radios, so check text fields. So what you kind of do is you kind of chunk based on key value pair, or you can group all the key value pairs and then you can send all these key value pairs in one go as well. So if there are tables, you can send table as one go. If table is kind of a big table, you kind of split based on 10 rows, 20 rows, and then you can pass all these 10 rows as one chunk. So identify different components and then write a custom logic that handles all these components, guys. So any questions on this component? Okay, if no questions, the next question that frequently asked question is, what chunking strategy do you use for the complex things, guys? So as I said, we would use semantic chunking. This is arbitrary, where if you need to know the structure of the document, if if there are forms, you can chunk based on key value pairs. If there are tables, you can chunk based on rows and columns. If there are sections or subsections, you can do fixed size chunking, paragraph chunking, section based chunking, or else if there is any handwritten notes, something like that, you can do based on specific section. So these are all the chunking strategies that you need to adopt based on the layout that you are getting from the layout model of the OCR. So OCR and then the chunking strategy need to be combined so that it can handle complex documents very effectively. So one question that also comes to that frequently comes is that you are saying that you are kind of taking the document, okay, and then passing this document to OCR, identifying different layouts, and then doing the chunking based on the layout. Once after doing that, how do you embed? What kind of techniques do you use? What are the key considerations that you do whenever you are kind of uh, doing the embedding, guys? What are the techniques that you use, and then why do you use only that technique? This is also one frequently asked questions. So this would be our last question for today, guys. I'll just take a pause after this question. uh, so the question would be, what kind of changing strategy or what kind of embedding technique would you use? Let's say this need to interrelated with the LLM that you are using for the application in the RAG, guys. So in the RAG, if you plan to use OpenAI for the generation in RAG, R stands for retrieval, A stands for augmentation, and then G stands for generation, right? So you kind of pass question and then the retrieved context to LLM, and then LLM gives us the output, right? So in order to do that, you need to use an LLM, right? You can use OpenAI LLM, or you can use models from Google, or you can use language models from Anthropic, and so on, right? So let's say if you're using OpenAI, the best recommended way is to use OpenAI's embedding model. Like you can use text embedding 3 model, or text embedding ADA 002 model, or you can use a family of OpenAI models. It is recommended way, but you can also completely use different models. Like you can use all mini LM v6 model from Hugging Face, or you can use Volama embeddings, or you can use Google embeddings Geico model. So you can use any model for chunking, but the only thing is that whenever you are kind of using different models, kind of observe the accuracy results, how exactly LLM is uh, performing whenever you are choosing different models. So key considerations that you need to consider whenever you are choosing embedding model is that you need to evaluate the quality of embeddings, You need to see how exactly LLM is performing. So LLM's performance is very important, right? So this embeddings are very, very important, because based on this embedding strategy only, that retrieval thing happens. So retrieval thing is main thing to LLM generation, right? So all are interlinked. So you need to see the quality of your embeddings, and then the cost of different models, latency, open source versus proprietary. So all these are the key considerations that you need to consider while choosing an embedding model. Okay. So this is about embedding models, guys. So the question that comes, that will ask, people might ask, is that what embedding model do you use, and then why do you use that embedding model? So I can say that, hey, I have used text embedding 3 small model, because our company uses OpenAI as their model. So I thought of experimented with different large language, different embedding models, like OpenAI, Olama embeddings, and then few Hugging Face, sentence transformer embedding models as well. But by using uh, text embedding 3 small, and then OpenAI's GPT-4o or GPT-5 is giving me the good results. So we kind of use this model. That is what your answer has to be whenever someone is asking this question on what exactly embedding model that you choose, and then why do you choose that embedding model. So yeah, this is also a very important question. What vector database do you use, and then why do you choose that vector database? So this is also a question that I wrote here. I might stop here. We will take one more class, and then we'll cover a few more questions. Okay, in some other class. Any questions for today, guys?
Thank you for very detailed and good explanation. And could you please plan one more session on the interview questions? Thanks a lot, sir. Nagashekar. Yeah.
Sure, sure. I can do that. Yeah. Can you please share, go back to slide 2 one more time, and then please share that file? Yeah, I can do. I can definitely share that. You can raise your questions. I'll definitely answer all questions, guys. Go ahead, Saiti.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I just had a question like when we are converting the PDFs with unstructured data like tables and all. So what if there is some text which is, related to a picture or diagram in the PDF? So how would that information, be retained in when it is converted to vectors, like the
Okay.
relation? Yeah.
So you are saying that there is some image, and then in that image there is some handwritten text. So
No, no. So there is a text which says that the below picture image shows, the steps for the process, and so uh,
uh okay.
yeah. And if there is some other information which is pointing to that image, so how would that um,
Yeah,
be
it
captured
is
in the?
kind of, yeah, it is kind of very difficult to see. Let's say if there is any flow diagram, or if there is some steps, like, hey, step 1 is this, and then if there is some arrow marks or something like that, it is very difficult to capture that kind of flows or flow thing, but you can extract the content. So the best thing that all these OCR models can do is it can extract the contents, what is there in the PDFs. But let's say if there is something like arrow mark saying, hey, this is step 1, step 2, then what you need to do is, in those cases you need to use language models. Like you need to use multimodal language models, and then you need to kind of take this as a screenshot, and then pass this uh, and then you can ask LLM to extract the content, because language models can understand the images better. So instead of using OCRs, in those cases, what you need to do is you need to send these information to multimodal language models, and then you need to ask multimodal languages to extract the content, and then they summarize the extracted content. That is the best thing what you can do if there is some steps involved, or if there is some flow diagrams involved. So you need to use multimodal language models.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Because there is a high possibility that, you know, in the real time, there could be this kind of scenario, and I
Yeah.
think we have one such thing. So I just
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to check. Yeah.
Yeah. You can use multimodal language models.
Okay. And one more question. Can we also
Mhm.
do fraud detection of unstructured documents using uh, AI, any AI models?
Yes, we can definitely do that. You can connect with me offline, and then we can discuss based on the document structure, what can be the steps that we can follow, or what architecture can we, what use case that we can build on top of that. Can we use agents, or can we use LLMs, or I mean, I can look into the data and then I can comment more, but we can do that. We can identify the fraud detection is what I can say.
Okay, okay, yeah, sure. Thank you.
So yeah, Srini, I mean, in most of the cases, RAG is used in PDFs or document related stuff. So document intelligence is the core area for RAG. Uh, yeah. Any other questions, guys? Ishwar. You can go ahead and talk, Ishwar.
Yeah, my question is, how about the Excel or CSV? Because they have the columns and they have the ordered format.
Mhm.
How we can feed properly into the RAG?
So nice question, and it depends on what kind of data that is there. So in that cases as well, you can kind of, con- I mean, combine them into rows, or you can merge them into, let's say, I can send 10 rows, and then I can store that into vector database. I mean, I can convert that. If there are any textual information, I can convert that into uh, vectors, and then I can store that into vector databases. But let's say really, I mean, if there is structured data, unstructured RAG will not be that much useful. So there are two kinds of RAG, Ishwar. One is structured RAG, second one is unstructured RAG. So unstructured RAG is used when there is something called PDFs, there is something called documents, like Word or something like that. So if there is structured data like tables, SQL data, then you can use a structured RAG. I think whenever I'm talking about this RAG concept in our classes, I talked about structured RAG as well. So in those cases, instead of relying on unstructured RAG, you can use structured RAG for good results.
Yeah, just even I'm using my monthly expense. I
Okay.
want to just categorize based on the petrol expense or grocery expense. How
Mhm.
should I categorize? Okay, will it have that intelligence to identify the proper column? That
So, mhm. Yeah, I mean, we can do that. As I said, what you can do is that, so you can kind of have this Excel information and then convert that into a pandas data frame or something like that, and then extract the only the petrol information, and then pass that petrol information to LLM and then ask LLM for summarization. So I mean, we need to have an engine. So here, because it is CSV, I'm just asking to load it as a data frame and then extract the content. Instead, let's say if this is information available in structured database, which is SQL or MySQL database, what you can do is you can you can ask a question. We can convert this question into SQL using LLM. We can convert that as an SQL statement. We can run this SQL statement on the SQL engine, and then we'll get the response. Based on that response, let's say I got all the petrol response. So now what I can do is petrol expenses response. I can pass that information to LLM, and then I can ask LLM for summarization. So
Okay.
if it is structured data, you need to do in structured way, like taking the question, converting that question into uh, more, I mean, executable format based on the engine, like SQL or MySQL. You need to have a query, right? So you need to take the user query, convert that into SQL query, pass that query to engine, and then convert that, get the information, and then we can do that. Does that answers your question, or uh, any follow-up?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I think master, last question. Can we have that infrastructure set up to experiment the sample use cases using the file structures from any?
Yeah, we can set up that. I mean, the infrastructure wise, we don't need to worry about that basic infrastructure, basic system configurations. Everything is good. So, but yeah, you can set up. I mean, infrastructure wise, you need to have one cloud. Let's say if you want to experiment this big, you can experiment by using Azure or AWS. Take some PDF documents, store that into storage, ADLS. We have ADLS in Azure, right? Store that there, and do embeddings, and then write a Python code, and then do all this stuff. And with respect to database, you can use AI search if you are using Azure, or if you want, you can use other databases like Pinecone. Or so you need to write end-to-end logic. You need to create that infrastructure. I mean, so I mean, but in companies, let me give you two examples. One, whatever the things that I am talking about. So in industries or in enterprise level, so they will create everything by their own, and then they'll write end to end. So if you are stimulating that, you need to create the entire infrastructure, like creating ADLS, creating document intelligence, all these resource groups. You need to create all these resource groups, and then you need to write a logic, write a Python notebook with the help of LangChain, where you can connect to that all the Azure services, whatever I'm talking about, and then you can build the end-to-end pipeline. But if you want, I mean, there are in online, you can have this infrastructure which is already ready, where in few use cases they can stimulate this. Uh, but that is not that useful. So I recommend you to have at least access to Azure or something like that, because they'll give you some free credits as well. So use that and then build end-to-end application. What LLMs we should use for practice? Not all are free, right? So yeah, uh, there are free LLMs. You can use Grok. Inside the Grok, there are Llama models and DeepSeek models. They are free. You can use those models, Shiva. I think, yeah, we can plan for one more class. If there are any questions, we'll take in those class. Okay. I think
Yeah,
we can
that's
close
true.
this
Yeah,
class.
let's wind up for today. Thank you all for today's session. Thank you, Master, for detailed explanation on interview questions. Yeah, definitely we'll conduct 1 or 2 sessions on this FAQs and questions. We'll notify through our WhatsApp chats. Okay, thank you all. Good night.
Thank you, Nagashekar. The real,
Yeah,
it's a
please
great
join
session.
tomorrow,
Uh,
10:30 a.m. The webinar. Tomorrow
Yes.
and the day after tomorrow, there are very good concepts on MCP projects. End-to-end project implementation helps a lot to everyone. Please join. Thank you all. Thank you, Murali, for engaging today's session. Yeah, Master, you can drop off. Thank you all. Yeah, again, reminding tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. By Venkatesh sir, we have a MCP project implementation. Please join. Even Sunday, we have another MCP project implementation by Pranay Master. Please join. Indra, please end the session for today. Thank you.